Hello, my friends. I am back to read the next part of our story, Pirate Treasure of the Onyx Dragon. So because I didn't hear back from my friends, no one made a choice. Miss Georgina had to choose for you. So we decided to search for the map beneath the boathouse. I think the map beneath the boathouse holds the most promise, you say. Let's go, Hannah agrees. The two of you scramble out of the study and head toward Aunt Lydia's gardening shed. You gather 2 shovels, a hoe, and a handful of towels. At the last moment, Hannah grabs a sonic beam detector. Aunt Lydia showed me this yesterday, she says. It's essentially a super sophisticated metal detector that uses ultrasonic waves to bounce off materials. It can penetrate anything. You hide everything near the madrona tree at the base of the dock. That night you sneak out and the 2 of you scrape away the dark earth around the tree by the glow of the moon, hoping to locate the map. You probe the sonic beams, probes in and out of the tree roots. You see all kinds of rocks and even what looks like a rabbit's warren, but nothing that looks like it might contain your map. A large blister forms on the palm of your hand. If I lift this one more time, you moan, I swear my hands will fall off. Let's call it a night, Hannah says, wiping sweat from her brow. Once inside your room, you fall into bed without changing out of your clothes. In a matter of seconds, you are in a deep sleep, dreaming about great-great-uncle McGregor and the Onyx Dragon. McGregor stands on the deck, trying to maintain his balance as the boat is pitched back and forth in a violent storm. Over the roar of the howling wind, you hear him calling your name. As you weave your way toward him, you realize he is pointing to the center of the boat. "Look there!" he yells. "Look there!" You feel lost and confused. McGregor now appears to be pointing at Aunt Lydia's boathouse, shining in the moonlight. "The rocks," he whispers, his voice growing faint as you strain to listen. "The rocks." You are blinded by the glaring white light. "My, oh my!" Aunt Lydia says, yanking back the curtains and allowing the bright morning sunshine to flood your room. "Whatever were you doing last night? Your clothes are covered with dirt, and you slept on top of the quilt." Smiling, she shakes her head and warns, if you don't wash and get dressed in a hurry, you'll miss out on her famous blueberry pancakes. After breakfast, you tell Hannah about your dream. For a moment, her brow is furrowed in concentration. Then her eyes twinkle brightly with excitement. "Of course!" she whispers excitedly. "Our Uncle McGregor was trying to give you a clue about the treasure map. When he pointed to the center of the ship, he didn't mean the ship, he meant the boathouse." "That's obvious," you reply. Hannah is such a know-it-all. But what rocks was he talking about? The ones his ship was about to strike? Or, I've got it, he must have meant the rock wall behind the madrona tree. Together you race toward the boathouse. Completely ignoring the pain from your blister, you break up the stone wall, shoving the rocks aside while Hannah shoves the sonic beam detector into the wet ground below. At first, the dark green LED screen shows a jumble of rocks, roots, and porous concrete. Slowly, however, the distinctive shape of an old bottle appears on the screen. You both pick up the pace of your digging. Within minutes, your shovel clangs against a glass bottle. "This is it!" you yell, lifting the green glass bottle out of the ground. Carefully, you twist the cork off the bottle. Inside is a tightly rolled piece of rough parchment, which you pull out slowly, careful not to tear it. Unrolling the paper, you begin to examine its markings. "It's a map!" Hannah says. clapping her hands. See the X here? You say, pointing at a corner of the wrinkled paper. I bet that's where the ship sank and where the treasure lies, waiting to be discovered. You're right, Hannah says. If we hurry, we can catch Aunt Lydia's friend Zoot down by the dive shop before it closes for lunch. We'll need lots of gear and air tanks. We can stow everything in Aunt Lydia's boat overnight and take off at the crack of dawn tomorrow. There's the bottle on the screen. Zoot is more than willing to rent you a scuba gear at a discounted price. After all, you two were my best scuba diving students last year, he says cheerfully. Because of the cold water in Puget Sound, he helps you choose rubber, pyro-stretch neoprene, jumpsuits, boots, atomic dive rigging, air tanks, flex hoses, compasses, headlamps, split fins, subframe, masks, titanium knives, weight belt guidelines. The list goes on for quite a while. I'll throw in 2 underwater slates for free, Zoot says kindly. That way you can communicate below surface. We better get a couple of these as well, you say excitedly, holding up 2 goodie bags that you hope to fill with treasure. Zoot eyes your haul with a twinkle in his eye. If I didn't know better, he says, I'd think the 2 of you had discovered a pirate's bounty. Early the next morning, before anyone is awake, you jot a quick note to your aunt. Hannah and I have gone out in the boat for the day. Back by dinner. The less we tell her, the better, you whisper. Hannah nods in agreement. You take the helm of the boat and quickly glide out into the calm, misty waters of Harrow Strait. The morning air is crisp and cool. Using local islands as your landmarks, you navigate to the area where the map indicates the Onyx dragon sank. You pass Snug Harbor, Dead Man's Cove, and False Bay before heading south towards Uger Island. Tall rise dramatically from its rocky shores. Hannah lowers the anchor. You struggle to climb into your diving gear. The rubberized material of the neoprene jumpsuit clings to your body like a second skin, and it takes a moment to adjust to the claustrophobic feeling. The early morning water looks dark and dangerous. You look through the gear, stowed in the ship's bow, searching for the deep water headlamps. Not only do you find the lamps, you also discover an FJ3ZX, a sophisticated underwater echo probe. Look, you say, holding it up for inspection. This is just what we need. It scans the bottom of the ocean using sound waves to identify objects and distances. The person who invented this probe became really famous, Hannah says with excitement. Maybe we'll have the same luck. You read the instruction manual, then activate the probe and wait as it sends sound waves towards the bottom of the strait. As the waves head downward, they surround anything in its path, gauging the object's overall depth and shape. This information is then transmitted back to a small LED monitor on board, showing an outline on the screen. You pull up the boat's anchor and begin drifting with the tides. Together, you and Hannah spend the day scanning the ocean bottom, searching for the Onyx dragon. Suddenly on the screen, small objects appear scattered in a group over the ocean floor. Next to them is a large mass embedded in the sand. The ship's hull, Hannah yells in your ear. You turn to tell your sister to lower her voice, but the sun setting against the Olympic mountains makes you stop. Let's dive for it now, Hannah says impatiently. We can camp on Uger Island tonight if we need to. In a matter of minutes it will be dark. Night diving is dangerous. You know you promised Aunt Lydia we'd return by dinner, but the images on the sonic probe screen make you hesitate. Should you risk an evening dive and spend the night camping on Ugar Island? Or should you return to Aunt Lydia's and resume your search tomorrow? Okay, friends, here's where you get to choose. If you choose to head back towards shore, turn to page 29. If you decide to dive now, turn to page 47. You guys let me know which way you want to go, and if you don't choose, Miss Georgina's going to have to choose for you. I miss all of you very much, and I look forward to the next time we read. Be safe. I wish you well.